Hi everybody, welcome back to LDRS Creative. I saw that Virginia is chair dancing. We're wanting to see that. I wish this was a two-way camera. That'd be so much fun. Welcome everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying the music. Alan got that going. We finally found some time to get it tested. Give me a thumbs up if you like the music. Give me a thumbs down if you want to hear something else. And if you give me a thumbs down, you got to tell me what you want to hear. Do you want rock and roll? Do you want more pop? Do you want classical? Do you want, I don't know, what else? If there's something else you want to hear. Or if you just want us to mix it up as we go, that's good to know too. So everybody, hello. Hello to Margie and Lori and Jen Ray. Andrea? I'm not sure. From Quebec. Bonjour. Yay. Virginia Ellison, you received your Cosmos stamp, stencil, and dies yesterday. Awesome. Who else is here? Sue is here, and Sheila and Carol. Hi, Carol, Deborah, and who else is here? Cindy Patty, Sheila Fisher. Uh-oh. Crickets, you're hearing? Yes, I'm not seeing anybody say anything about the music either. Phyllis is here, and Michelle is here. Lisa Peters, Teresa Jarvis. Cards by Karen. Hello, everybody. So I've got a confession to make. First of all, hello to Ariel. Confession is last week when I did the whole run through the entire collection, I hit the button to over and out, and I went, oh, totally forgot the giveaway. So we're going to do 2 giveaways today. So we have to make up for it. So at the end of tonight, we're going to be doing 2, well, that's 4. Let's go this way. Here, then here. 2 giveaways tonight. So make sure you stay tuned, stay on to the end, because that's when we do the giveaways. You do have to be present to win. And the only way we know that you're here is if you leave a comment for us. And then Mr. Hunt is going to just randomly choose a couple of names, and don't know what you're going to get just yet. I'll announce it at the end. All right, everybody. We actually have quite a bit to do today. I'm so excited about working with all the new alphas and numbers and all the stuff that we have in this new collection. So many things that I want to do with them. So I thought that I would start off with 2 cards that are, I think they're kind of simple, and it's going to allow me to kind of start the process with you guys and talk to you about why I created this or why I wanted to have these. Because typically these alphas and things you'll see them in like journaling and a lot of memory keeping and stuff like that, which I love, but you don't see them a whole lot in card making. And I think it's just a really cool thing to stack these and to kind of make these little collages. So I wanted to bring it into my card making. And so hopefully you guys are going to like it. I think it's really, really neat. It's a step away from, all the character stamps and all the flowers and stuff. And for me, I like to have something that's kind of new and exciting too. It kind of challenges me creatively. And hopefully we can challenge you guys a little bit creatively too. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to switch the camera. Let me first find a couple of things that I want to show you. So I'm not going to be working obviously with the entire alpha and numeric collection because well, that's a lot and we'd be here a long time. It's a lot to kind of mix and match and stuff like that, but I'm going to kind of, like I said, get the ball rolling, and we're going to start with a couple of cards. I am doing 2 cards tonight. So I'm going to get started by showing you. Let me see, the first thing that I'm going to work with today, let me get this out of here. Let me pull this over. All right, Mr. Hunt, got him.
Close or far?
Let's go far. Okay, so I'm going to grab my glasses right here. And, all right, so let's see. Let me move some things around. This is what I'm going to start with today, and it's going to be the Jordan Jumbo, the numbers, the jumbo stamps in both the solid, and I'm going to use the outline. All the stamps that you're going to be seeing tonight are actually my working set of stamps, so they're going to be gently loved already. So you'll see that they have some ink staining on them, and all that is good. That just means that I've been crafting and having fun. So when you look at the back of all of our stamps, you're either going to see a card sample or you're going to see what the stamps will look like once they're colored up. It all depends on the stamp set and which we decide is best to have on the back. In this case, having these colored up really works, and then here you can see what the outlines look like. These sets are designed to be used individually, so whenever you see any of our alphas or numbers, whether it's the solids or the outlines, you can use them all by themselves, but you can also combine them together, and that's what I'm going to be doing in tonight's card. The other stamp set that I'm going to be working with is going to be the On This Special Day. We're going to go ahead and zoom in at this point, I think, Alan. Let's zoom in because now we have little characters, little images to look at here.
You know who's on?
Who's on?
Carlin from Florida, who I shipped the wrong...
What?
I shipped the ink thing, the refill, the re-inkers to her instead of the ink pad.
What is her name?
Carlin.
Carlin is on tonight. And Alan, oh, welcome, Carlin. I remember this. She actually ordered ink pads, first time ordered some ink pads, and Alan was used to shipping all of the re-inkers because we just stocked those, just put those out, and he made a mistake and didn't look close enough at Carlin's order and shipped her re-inkers. So she reached out to us and said, "Hey, something's not right." And so Carolyn got to have re-inkers, and then Alan shipped the ink pads as well. So she is all set. Those are going to last her a long time. So welcome, Carolyn, to maybe your first live with us. I'm not sure. So anyway, back to this. On this special day, this is the other stamp set I'm going to be using. So these first two were 4x6. This one is a 4x8, so it's a little bit longer. And this one is called On This Special Day. Let me move that stamp set down. There's 33 stamps in total in here. And we cover a lot of your special occasions in here. And a lot of the stamps that are in here can be used for multiple things. So I'm going to flip this over because as you can see, mine is well loved. It's hard to see maybe what some of these are. So we've got some wedding stamps in here. We've got some graduation, just basic congrats. We have some for new baby, a little bundle of love. We have happy anniversary in here. We've got some champagne, congratulations, the adventure begins. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful stamp set for a lot of special celebratory things. And some are more specific and some are very generic. So this is what I'm going to use on my first card, just these 3. And we're going to get rolling. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you my finished card. I did plan a card. I've already got one done, but I'm going to let you guys be surprised. We'll see if I'm going to be surprised too. Oh, and I saw that somebody said, "I love your glass mat." This is the new, if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know if you want to switch back real quick. I'm just going to explain the mat real quickly. This is the new Luxe magnetic glass craft mat. This is in the store. You can get this at retailers around the country as well. I encourage everybody to please go to your local retailer, be it a brick and mortar store or an online store. Where they're stocking our products. We always want to support them, and we want you guys to support the retail stores as well. But this is a large glass mat. It is magnetic. It's 18 inches by 24 inches. You can do all your crafting on here. We have a video on this on the YouTube channel. It's less than 2 minutes long, so it'll tell you everything about it. The full thing is magnetic, and it is stunning. So no matter where your craft space is, no matter how big, no matter how small, this is going to make your craft space look professional and just gorgeous all the time. You're not going to have to clean up because this is going to be stunning. All right, so we're going to move on from here. So I just wanted to tell everybody that if you have anybody who hadn't seen it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to trim this. So Alan, let's come in a little bit closer. The first thing I have here is an A2 piece of cardstock, A2 white cardstock. A2 means that it is 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 inches tall. I am going to trim this down because I decided I'm going to be doing a graduation card. Our son graduated from high school last summer, I guess. And I thought, I haven't been able to really scrapbook or do anything from his stuff, so that's what I decided to do today. And so I thought it would be fun too to do a masculine card. I do a lot of florals and stuff all the time, very girly, very feminine. So I thought it'd be nice to do something that was more masculine. And when I measure this out, where's my stamps? Putting 4 of these stamps wide across the card. Okay, when I lay this out here like this, if I put 4 of those wide, so like the 0, 1, 2, and 3, that left about 1 inch extra on the card. And these are still further apart than I'm going to want them to be. So I'm going to actually trim an inch off of both the top and the side so I get a smaller card to work with. And so let's go like this. So I've got that at the 1 inch mark, and I'm just going to trim it. I save these little pieces. When you have a decent sized piece like this, I save these for sentiments. So I just kind of stack these, and I'll just use these for sentiments later on. So I'm going to set those aside. So I've trimmed an inch off of either side of this now. And just so if anybody's wondering, this is Neenah Classic Crest, the solid white, or what is it called? Something solar white. Thank you. Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock, 110 pound. I'm going to go ahead and fit this into my stamping platform. Now, I do use a stamping platform. If you don't have one, you can certainly do everything that I'm doing with a block. I always keep a block handy when I'm working with stamps. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I always keep a block handy, especially when you get to really teeny tiny little stamps that are going to stick to your fingers, you know, more than they're going to stick to the paper when you try and line them up. So I always have that on hand. So I'm going to go ahead, and what I wanted to do with this, since our son graduated in 2022, that's what I want to put across here is 2022. And I'm going to tell you what else I'm going to use real quick. I chose 3 colors to work with. Now, the colors of our son's high school were basically red and white. And so, like, you know, if we had a sweatshirt or something, it was red and white, but, you know, you can always mix. You know, black is always a really great accent, and then I wanted to have a little bit of gray in there too. I typically, when I'm doing this kind of a project, I'm going to have 3 colors of inks that I'm going to be working with. So these are the 3 that I chose. So I have the Raven, this one is Alloy, and then the red is Kiss Me Red. So it's a beautiful, bright, bright red. So these are my 3 ink colors that I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to go ahead and start positioning. Now this is where you kind of have to play a little bit. I'm literally only using 2 of the numbers, the 2 and the 0, because he graduated in 2022. Wouldn't it be nice if he graduated in like 2034 or something? First of all, well, he'd still be little, and that would be great. But that way I could line all the numbers up. So anyway, here's what I do. I'm going to line these up. My center is roughly right here, okay? So I'm going to line up, I'm going to actually take 4 numbers because they're very much the same width, all of these numbers. And it's going to help me with placement. So even though I'm not going to use the 3 and the 4, I'm going to line these up. Now, I like kind of a free-form look. I don't worry about whether or not I have these things perfectly level top to bottom. Top to bottomous. Who says that? Top to bottomous.
I don't know.
What is that from?
I'll rip you from top.
No, top to bottomous. That's from some show, and I can't.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. That's what it is. Top to bottomous. Is that the lion?
I thought so. Cowardly Lion.
Cowardly Lion. Top to bottomous. Okay. So I'm lining up the 2, 0, the 3, and the 4. And I'm going to look in the camera. It looks like, I'm not concerned with where these are necessarily, but I want these numbers to be fairly close. All right. So this gives me an idea of where, oops, of course, now I move it. But the 2 is really what I need to have positioned. So I'm going to put my 4 and my 3 away. Now my idea is to have the 20, 22 in the background. I'm actually going to put my 0 aside. Have the 2022 in the background, and then I'm going to start layering and stamping over and around it. So the idea, for me at least, when I'm creating these little collages, is that I have kind of a foundation that I start off with, and then I start building on top of it and building around it. And so I know that I want to have something up above this. That's why I'm not placing too much up top there. And then I also know that I'm going to have some things below it, and so I'm not going too low there either. But I do think I might move this down just a hair, just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to start with the solids. I do find that for me, like you could actually start. Let me get the Where's the, oh, here, they're right here. You can actually start stamping with the outlines and then fill in the color afterwards. I have an easier time lining things up if I stamp with the solid and then I apply the outline afterwards. That's just my preference. It's easier for me to line it up if I do it that way. So that's just a little tip. And you might try it both ways and see which way is best for you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this inked up. Now, if this were a brand new stamp, I would be rubbing on that stamp just to condition it a little bit, just with my finger. I do like to turn my ink pad in different directions when I ink up some of these fatter, more solid stamps because I think it inks it better. I'm not going to press real hard with my Stampendable, but I am going to let that ink kind of soak in to the paper a little bit, giving that a moment. Now you can see because it's a thick solid stamp, I'm going to go ahead and stamp it again. There we go. Let me get that inked up. And if there were any fuzzies on my stamp, you know, that may not have stamped very clearly, there may have been like a little spot that it didn't get, and at that point, you know, before I stamp it again, I would actually wipe it off and re-ink it fresh if I noticed that there was like a spot where it didn't ink up. If you have a lot of ink, like if your ink pad is really juicy and you have a lot of ink on there, you might get a couple of little dots. I don't worry about that. To me, that looks like, you know, that looks like I've kind of, you know, splattered, you know, a little bit anyway, which is one of my favorite techniques, and I love how it looks, so I don't worry about that. Somebody said, has anybody heard from Will recently? That's a really good question. Oh, you put that out there? I haven't seen him either. I don't know what's going on. I hope he's okay. So now I have the 0, and I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to have a tiny little, just a little bit of space between these two. I'm going to look up in my camera. It's hard for me, because I don't have my head over top. I don't want to put my head right over the top. It's hard for me to see if I have these lined up vertically. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that I do. I have to look kind of in the camera there to see what it looks like. Or actually on the computer screen. Let me turn that around a little bit, get that inked. So I'm not pressing hard with my Stampendable, but giving it a moment to soak in. A little bit up there. Looks like I didn't have enough pressure up there, but you know what? Just in case I have a fuzzy on there, I'm going to give that a little bit of a wipe. Just in case there was a little bit of fuzz. Wipe that water off of there. Because sometimes you can get a little fuzz on your stamps, especially these thicker stamps. Let's get that one spot up there a little better. There we go. I just didn't have good pressure on it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a quick clean. This is my Extreme Clean that I'm using. I use that for no matter, I mean, I would use it, I use it all the time. We use hybrid inks. I love it. It cleans everything nicely, but it works on all different types of inks as well. So now I need the 22. And I may need to trim. I probably should have moved things over just a little bit. I'm a little worried, but we'll see. Does that look right? Does it look a little high? Looks pretty good. We'll go with it. Again, I don't want to put my head in the camera. Last thing you guys want to see is the top of my head, right? Get that inked up. There you go. And we're going to give it one more. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean this before I move it over and do the 2 again. All right. And now I'm going to do the 2 one more time. right about here. Actually, I think it's coming out pretty good. That looks a little bit low. All right. And I'm going to ink it again. There we go. So 2022 is when our son graduated. So you could do this with anything, at any year, with any anniversary, any celebration that you want to do this for. You can make this card. Just change up the stamps that you're doing. If you want this to be, you know, for somebody's 18th birthday or something like that, just change the year. Change some of the other stamps. Okay, so that is those. So I'm going to go ahead and put these away. 2022. And you can see I did a little bit of over inking on mine. I'm not even going to worry about it. Not going to worry about it. So now I'm going to grab my outline stamps. So this is the Jordan Outline Numbers Jumbo. Now these jumbo stamps, both of these are 2 inches tall. These are big stamps. And we've had so many people asking for dies for these, so we are actually planning dies for them now. So those are going to be coming in the future. So now I'm going to line up my 2. And now this is where I have a little bit of fun. If I don't line this up perfectly, I'm actually happier, because I think it gives it a really nice kind of offset look if I don't get it right. So I'm not as precise with it. Now watch, because I'm not being precise with it, it'll probably be perfect. Nope, see, it's off just a little bit. And I think it looks really, really cool that way. I like it. And grab that 0. This is stamping too that you can do in front of the television if you want. It's really easy. Put a game show on. See, just slightly offset, and it looks really nice. And let me get these other 2s. Now here's where it's going to be really neat too, since we have that little bit, you know, of over inking that I did. You're actually going to see some of that red on the outside of the lines, and so it's going to almost look like I splattered my ink a bit. Look how cool that looks. I think it looks so neat when it's off like that. It just kind of gives it kind of a retro look, and I think it's really neat. Especially with, you know, with this being more of a masculine card, I think it looks really cool. So let's get that done. There we go. And that's all there is to that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this set away. And the next thing we're going to pull out, where is my, here it is. I always lose these. Raise your hand if you always lose. Boy, if only they would come out with if only somebody would come out with a really good way to store these. Just saying. Okay. Let's see. Next up, I'm going to pull this out. This is my On This Special Day. And because I want this to be about graduation, the first thing I'm going to do, let me make sure this is dry, because these take a little bit longer to dry, is I'm going to put, see that graduation hat right there? I'm going to stamp that up at the top. I'm going to angle it a little bit like it was tossed into the air, because I think that looks really cool. I'm not going all the way up to the top, very top of the card. I'm going to leave it a little bit of space up above it. And just kind of center it. Make sure I'm using the right ink. This is my Raven. Ink that up nicely. There we go. I see Jen Ray is saying, why did you leave YouTube?
Why did Will?
Oh, why did Will? Oh, okay.
He's only on Twitch.
Huh?
He's only on Twitch. He's not restreaming.
Oh, okay. Did he join us tonight or no?
No, not yet. We haven't seen him.
Oh, okay. So there is the graduation hat. Now, I told you I like to use like at least 3 colors when I do this. So in the center of that 22, this is kind of what I do. I position it. I go, do I want love there? Do I want to put the word special there? I could do that. Cheers, not so much with my 18-year-old. Well, he's 19 now, but he was 18 when he graduated high school. But I think that congrats looks really cool right there. So this is a way, I love that you can see through these. Lay that over the top, see how it's going to look. And let's see, pull that off of there. Here is congrats. And I'm going to lay it on here just a little bit south of center. And I love how it hangs over just a little bit on both sides. There we go. I think that looks good. I'm looking in the camera to see if I've got it kind of straight. Let me make sure I have this straight. There we go. That looks good. And I'm going to do that in black. Now, one thing I do pay attention to as I'm doing these is distribution of color. So I have black up at the top, a little bit of black outlining there. So I'm going to put, this is going to be another nice big grounding stamp in black. Now, this is a solid stamp once again, so I may have to do this a couple of times. Actually stamped pretty well. But I am going to do one more, just so it's really good and solid and dark. I will give you guys a little bit of a heads up if you want. Do you want a heads up on something? Let me know if you do. I didn't see anybody saying anything. Dieta, what is storage? Yes, you guys do want a heads up? We're going to be on HSN, speaking of storage. Ding, ding, ding. We're going to be on HSN on March 28th. It'll be a really good time for you to tune in to HSN, let me just say. Okay, so we have black there, we have red in the middle. So I wanted to have another piece of, something in black at the bottom, because I'd like to have it kind of shown and balanced. So I want something in black at the bottom. And in looking at these stamps, I love these. So these stamps have things like the best is yet to come. We've got so proud of you on this special day, cheering you on. That's a really nice one. Some of these are baby. This one says the adventure begins, which I think is really, really great. So some of these apply and some of them aren't, but you know, we have a lot to choose from. So I'm choosing the adventure begins. And I'm going to put that, let me make sure I have it upright. Ooh, I almost stamped it upside down. That would be a bit tricky, wouldn't it? I'm going to kind of stamp it offset just a little bit. Little bit outside of the lines there, so everything isn't lined up so perfectly. And I'm going to do that in black. All right, let me make sure I like where it's going to go. It looks good. Yeah, I think you know, when you tune into HSN on the 28th, I will, of course, as we get closer, I'll be giving you the date or the times and stuff like that. But I think you're going to see some things from us that you have not seen before. Some really cool things. So if I were you, I would mark it on my calendar already. So now I've got the You Did It. So I have, red is pretty powerful. So I'm not going to have 3 items here in red. That's pretty powerful. It's a really good statement piece. I have 3 items in black now, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to start getting some gray in. Remember, that was my 3rd color. And I've got You Did It right here. And I'm putting You Did It just underneath the adventure begins. If I can get it to not stick to my finger. Let's see. Right up underneath there. Looks good. Now, my 3rd color was gray. So I have the gray, which is alloy. And alloy is a soft gray. It's a light gray. Intentionally, I wanted a light gray because I wanted to be able to build that color darker if I wanted, but I wanted it to be really soft if I didn't want it to be dark, right? So I'm going to stamp this a few times just to build up that gray. You did it. Notice the mix of fonts in these too. Font sizes and different, types of fonts. I just think they're so pretty. I love having this mixture. Now I am doing this in, like I said, more masculine colors. You could do this exact same card in pinks and purples or yellows and orange and turquoise and whatever it is that you want to do it in for your graduate. What? You have a question there?
Have you ever made an eclipse card?
Have I ever made an eclipse card?
Yeah, numbers would be great for that.
Oh, I haven't. I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. I'm going to have to look that up. Sheila was asking. Sheila Fisher. I'm going to have to look that up. So the stamp I've chosen right now says "So proud of you," and I thought it would be fun to kind of tuck that. It's one of these that goes it's curved. It's actually designed to work with the little postage stamp here, but I'm going to kind of curve that around the two just to have some just a little texture, a little bit of interest, a little something something. And I'm going to do that in alloy as well, stamping that a few times. See how light it is? One thing I love about the hybrid inks, they will build on top of each other and get darker. There you go. So now it says, "I'm proud of you." That looks really nice. And then last, I wanted to have a third. So I've got 1, 2, one more in gray, and I decided to work with "Cheering You On." And so "Cheering You On," I decided to put right up at the top here. If I can get it to not stick to my fingers. There we go. "Cheering You On." I hope it's straight. How many times, I wonder, do I say that in a live? I hope it's straight. I hope it's straight. But you know what? I really hope it's straight. That's a little bit low, but that's okay. It's hard when I can't put my head right over the top, but all's good. There we go. "Cheering You On." All right, give that a quick clean. And then I'm going to put this stamp away. And then a fun thing to do, I think is fun, is to have color on color. And I'm noticing right now, Alan, will you do me a favor? I think I should have chose. Will you give me that darker red right up there? It's right by the bright yellow. Yep. Yep. Because my sample, I don't think my red was dark enough. So because I wanted to work with cardstock that was red, I could go ahead and put this on here just like that, and it would be really, really great. But I wanted to have interest in the background there. And so here's what I decided to do. And I know I can get ink all over my mat, but I still don't like to. So I'm going to have a piece of scrap. I could get ink all over it and it'll clean up, but I just can't bring myself to do it. So I have this word, the 1 sentiment, "congrats." And I wanted to work with the red in the background, but I wanted some interest on it. So I grabbed my next color up right now, which is Scarlet Rose. I initially used the same red, which was the Kiss Me Red on the back, but you can't see it as well. See, it kind of got a little bit too light, in my opinion, when it dried. So I'm going to go a shade darker with it, which is Scarlet Rose. And I'm just going to put some background in here. And it's going to be the word "congrats." And so I'm literally just going to go like this on the diagonal. Give it a moment to soak in. Ink it up. And I'm just going to kind of offset this, just like so. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect. And I'm going to put the C over here just so it's continued. And I'm going to move this way over here because I want everything to look kind of offset. There we go. move this one in. And I know everything in the center is going to be covered up, but I want everything to look uniform. I want it to look like pattern paper in the background. Oh, that one just says rats. Now, because the center is going to be covered, I'm just going to go over here now, like this. And I'm not going to worry about stamping right there in the middle. The goal is to make sure all the edges are covered. And I think this gives, ooh, I just got it all over my finger. Let me ink that up again. I just think this gives a really neat look. There we go. Almost done. Put this one here. So I'm getting all of those edges. And nobody's going to be able to tell if I'm not going perfectly straight across. That doesn't really matter at all. There we go. Let me bring that one in a little close together, but that's okay. And then come right here. And then I am going to put something right on that corner there, just like that, just so that it's all the way across the whole thing. Now, you know, I could have done that in black if I wanted, but I think it would be pretty strong in black. And this is going to get a little bit lighter as it dries. So go ahead and clean my stamp so it's all ready for me for the next time. There we go. And then, look how this is doing. We're running low. Running low!
Oh my, we are running low.
I know. I know.
Crisis.
Crisis hotline. Running out of foam. Okay, so just let me get a few pieces here. My foam tape. Now this is the, I haven't mentioned it in a while, but this is the Scotch foam tape. I get the gargantuan roll of it. I just happen to be running out right now. You trim that little piece. Whenever I have extras anyway, I just put them on the side of the roll like that. There we go. There we go. So a really nice kind of masculine graduation card for my son. Now this is going to go into like a little scrapbook. I'm not going to be giving him this card at this point and saying, you know, congratulations, it's almost a year later. That would be a little bizarre, but it's going to go with, you know, with his pictures and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of this, just to turn it into a card. Make sure I have this going on the card base in the proper direction. There we go. And that is it. Look how fun! A little bit of dimension as that's popped up there. And I think it looks really, really nice. I hope you guys like it. I think it's so, so fun. Very, very different than what you normally see me do. Here's the one that I did where I did the background in the same red, the Kiss Me Red, and it lightened up a little bit too much, I think, as it dried. This is going to get a little bit lighter, but that got too light and it doesn't really show up as well. So I like it better with that darker red on there. So I love it. So I hope you guys like it. Okay, next I'm going to try and do, we'll see. We're going to do, do I have time to do it? Yes, if I get started on it, I think I do. We might go over a few minutes, but we're going to see how we do. So, similar technique, but you're going to see me do something a little bit girly now. I'm going to use, what am I going to use? This time I'm going to use the Jordan Alpha Jumbo Uppers in the solids. And I'm not using the outlines, so I'm going to put those aside, but I need the Jordan Alpha Jumbo Lowers. So this is the uppercase and the lowercase, and we're using the solids. So this time my card base, I have actually cut with the largest die in the new Delicate Stitches scalloped rectangle, this die here. I cut my white cardstock with that. And so that is ready to go. What else do I have here? I'm going to get my colors out. My 3 colors. I'm going to put these other colors away so I don't grab anything by accident. And I am going to need my watermark or embossing ink as well. So this time I'm going to be doing pinks and kind of purples. It's really a purpley pink, but I've got Soft Kisses, Tickled Pink, and then Boysenberry Blast, which sounds yummy right now. And then I also have my watermark or embossing ink, okay? And we're going to get started. The idea with this, I wanted to do a similar kind of a card where I'm layering and making a collage. And I wanted to do something that was maybe, something you could give for an anniversary. And so I'm going to get started by putting this in here. And I'm going to pull the words love. I thought it would be nice to have love in the middle there. And so we're going to start with the uppercase. So I'm going to be mixing the uppercase and the lowercase. So I want the uppercase from the L from the uppercase, and then the OVE from the lowercase. Now these stamp sets are very large stamp sets. Because each of these letters is 2 inches, all of our jumbos, alphas and numbers, are 2 inches. It's going to be in packaging that's a 6x8, but you actually get a 6x8 stamp set plus a 4x6 stamp set in each one of these jumbo alphas. So there's a lot in here. So just know that you actually get 2 stamp sets in a set. So I have the L, that capital L. And then I need the O, the V, and the E from the lowercase. And so here is the V. Here's the V. We might go over in time just a little bit, but we'll see if I can swing it, if I can get this done. Here's the O and E. Okay. So again, I'm going to kind of line these up a little bit. I'm going to leave some space at the bottom. I may not get to demo this entire card, but I have one that's ready to go. It's already done, and I can show you a couple of the techniques that I wanted to show you here and some of the idea around it. I'm going to raise up that O because I think it looks fun. Let me move this L over. I didn't do it on my original card, but I'm going to do it here.
Raise up the E too, maybe?
I don't know. I'm going to leave it, I think, like that because I think it looks kind of fun. I'll straighten everything out when I get around to each of those letters. But I'm going to move these off, and I'm going to move this in a little bit because I know I actually have more room. When you line your letters up, you have excess on the side of each of these, so you don't get them as tight or as close as they will be. So I'm going to go ahead with that L, and I'm going to do kind of an ombre. Remember last week when I couldn't remember the word ombre? Well, I'm going to do an ombre look. So I'm going to start with Soft Kisses, and I'm going to ink up the entire L. And then I'm going to grab my Tickled Pink, and I'm just going to get a little bit of ink on the bottom there. Let it soak into your paper, give it a moment. And now just to blend it again, I'm going to go in with that Soft Kisses again over the entire thing. And that's just gonna kind of help blend it, smooth it out a bit. All right, if you want to do one more run with that, then do it. Depends on how dark you want things to get. All right, so there's my L. Look how pretty that is. All right, give that a clean. That is the only uppercase letter that I'm going to be using on this card. So I'm going to put that away. And I'm actually going to put these away because I will get everything all a mess in a pile and all confused if I don't put things away as I'm done with them. And it's like it creates too much confusion for me if there's too many things happening, too many things open. So I'm going to move that over. So there's the L. Here is my O. I'm actually going to raise that up because I think it's kind of fun to have that raised up. Let me make sure my other letters are still going to fit how I want them to fit, and that's going to be over. Okay, that's going to work. So there's the O. Make sure it's straight. And I'm going to go with Soft Kisses first over the entire letter, and then just kind of bring in a tiny little bit. I kind of rolled it a little bit with the darker color. And you know what? I'm going to roll that top a bit there because I think I got a little too much, a little too hard line there with that lighter one. And now I'm going to come in just with Soft Kisses a couple of times just to brighten that up, darken it up, and help to kind of smoosh all that color together. But doesn't that look pretty when you do it that way? I love that look. All right. Somebody's asking, can I explain what a hybrid ink is? Absolutely. You're going to be actually seeing me do some of the things a hybrid ink will do. So first of all, a hybrid ink is a combination ink. It has a combination of properties from both a dye and a pigment ink. So it has permanent qualities, all right? So it's a more permanent ink. It is going to have a little bit longer of a drying time, which is nice, so it gives you a little more working time with it. It's an ink that it's really kind of a go-to ink. That's the best way to describe it. I can grab this ink, I can stamp with it, as you see me doing. I can color blend with it with my blender brushes, okay? The colors blend together beautifully. I can layer color upon color to make it darker if I want. If I'm stamping with this, I can paint with watercolors. So if I have my watercolor paints and I stamp an image with a hybrid ink, I can paint with watercolors because it's not a water-soluble ink. I can also color with Copic markers if I want, or pencils. I can ink and I can use it to emboss. So you're going to see me do that. So I have my water marker, my embossing ink here that I will use. I'm going to be using this with gold embossing powder in a little while. But I'm also going to emboss with my tickled pink, just with clear embossing powder, which I think is in my drawer over here. I don't think I have that out. I can stamp on all kinds of different surfaces as well, like wood, glass surfaces. I can heat set it on glass surfaces and it'll stay. I can stamp on fabrics. It's just a go-to ink, which is nice. When you have hybrid inks, you no longer have to say, what am I crafting with? And then try to figure out which inks you need for that medium. You just grab your hybrid inks and go. So that's a hybrid ink. That's why we, LDRS. See, remember when I said there's a little something you get on your stamp? That one has something on it, a little fuzz. But all those reasons that I just gave you for hybrid inks, that's why we have hybrid inks. It's just my favorite. It's just a go-to. I better clean that. That one has something on it. So it's not taking the ink there. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But I'm not getting enough ink in that little spot now because I've stamped so many times that it's not going. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. But that's what happens if you get a fuzz on there and you don't get it cleaned off. Okay. But that's okay. This goes on this is the V, so that goes here. And then here is the E. There we go. Doesn't that look cool with that O kind of offset a little? I think it looks neat. Let me get this one cleared before I do anything. There we go. Oops. Let's try that again. I forgot the other color. There you go. And I'm going to do one more because it looks a little light to me still compared to the others. Yep, Sharon, whoops. But doesn't that look pretty? I think it looks so cool. All right. Now, if I were going to, be the obsessive person that I am, I would grab like a Copic marker or a pencil and I would fill that in or something. But I don't want to keep stamping because you can see that, and I'm just filling up that space too much with color and around it. And it's never going to even that out because I inked it a couple of times already with a fuzz on it. So I'm not going to worry about it. Although it does seem like I'm worried about it since I don't stop talking about it, doesn't it? Okay. So from here, I'm just going to kind of start playing. So one of the things that I did, because I decided that I wanted to have, one of these sentiments from the Love Stack. So I pulled these out, and I already have some that were already stamped and die cut. This is what I had left. So the way that these stacks work, this is, if you're not familiar with them, this is one stamp, and then there's a die that coordinates with it. When you stamp it, you stamp all of those at the same time. You also stamp those little squares, and then when you lay the die over it, you line up those little squares with the squares in your die. When you run it through your die cutting machine, it cuts out a whole bunch of these all at one time. Okay, so this is what I have left over from what I cut, I don't know, a while ago. So I'm going to grab this one. It says, "You always make me feel loved." I think that's sweet. And so that I'm going to put at the bottom here. I'm going to pop that up on a little bit of foam. But I'm just going to put it here for right now just so I can kind of start positioning things, around it. So I know that that's going to go there. Now, I thought with a love card, like an anniversary card is what this is. Thought it'd be fun to have champagne. And I can't think of champagne without thinking of Gigi. Da, 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 champagne. Da, 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 da. I don't know. I don't know the words. But I have the music in my head. I got the music in me. Okay, so I'm going to put the champagne up here. I'm going to have one of them kind of stable and the other one is kind of on the angle. It's because you're like clinking the glasses. And remember when I said I was going to emboss with my hybrid ink? So I've got my clear embossing powder here. Alan, well, all right, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to open up my clear embossing powder. I can only get so much on the screen. So this is my clear embossing powder. I can get more on the screen, but I want it to stay zoomed in for you guys. So here's my clear embossing powder. I'm going to go ahead and heat up my heat gun. There we go. Alan and his sound effects. LOL, Angie is none the wiser. What are you doing over there? Thank you so much. Regan is on my side. So funny. And you're correct. I cannot hear them, so I am none the wiser. You making a fool of me? You making a fool of me, Mr. Hunt?
You talking to me?
You talking to me? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp this with the tickled pink. my little champagne glasses here. I'm going to stamp it a couple of times because I want this to be good and inky, so like good and juicy. All right, so ink that up. Now, it does have an extra kind of extended dry time, but I still want this to be, you know, really wet and juicy when I go to put the that embossing powder on it. So very quickly, I'm going to go from there to here and apply that embossing powder while it's wet. All right. And now, let's move that over so I don't get embossing powder everywhere. Now, you're going to see the magic of hybrid inks because you can emboss with them and it's beautiful. There we go. It's starting to heat up. Beautiful. Look how pretty. Nice and shiny. See, it's all pretty. It's all raised and shiny. Gorgeous. So, so beautiful. Can't do that with every ink, but you can do that with a hybrid ink. So I didn't have to switch to a watermark ink because I was using clear embossing powder. I'm going to heat that from the back a little bit to see if I can even out my paper. There we go. Just a tinge. Okay. All right, so I didn't have to grab a color embossing powder. I can use any ink that I have and just clear embossing powder if that's what you want to do. It's perfect. Any hybrid ink, I should say. All right, so let's go ahead and put this one away. And everything else that I showed you, I've kind of already done. Who wants me to, give me a show of hands if you want me to finish the card, if you want to go over time. Give me a show of hands. Because I know, we do have the giveaway, and but I don't want to keep people here too long. Nobody's saying anything.
I'm saying no.
I know what you're saying, goofball. Oh, but Cindy Patty wants me to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead right now, and Sheila, all right, everybody's saying go for it, finish it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish it. So I've got a couple of colors in here right now. I'm going to go ahead and put, here is this, is that sentiment that I told you I'm going to put in here. Now, I've got kind of a darker pink here. I've got a darker pink here, and I have my lighter pink in there. I kind of want to do a little bit of balancing, but I'm not, this is pretty bold, so I'm not going to worry about getting that light pink in there too much anymore because it's pretty bold already. Underneath here, I'm going to put something, so I have You Always Make Me Feel Loved. I'm going to go with I Thee Wed because I think it's really pretty. And it's just really sweet. This is something I would give to my husband. It's not a wedding card. This is an anniversary card because I would marry him all over again. I know you don't believe me, but I would. No. I don't think laughing was supposed to be the reaction there, but such a sweetheart, honey. Jeez. Oh, there we go. I Thee Wed. I'm gonna do that one more time. Just lightly. There we go. Pretty. Go ahead and give that a quick clean. Oops. And then put that one away. And so, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put foam behind that so that it's ready to go. I can put the foam on this kind of early at this point now because even though I still have stamping to do, because this foam isn't really thick. If it were a really thick foam, I wouldn't do it yet because it would get in the way of my stamping. But if it does get in the way, I'm not going to actually adhere it down yet. I'm just going to put this on here so I can see how everything is coming together. And this will help me move that around easier too because it's up and I can grab it easier. So we're going to leave that there. Next up, I want to put, so I have like that kind of dark pink up there now. I have a dark pink down here. I want to have something go through the center there. And I thought it would be really nice if it said, I'd choose you all over again. Now, obviously my husband wouldn't use this stamp if he was making me a card, but I would do it for him.
I told you the other day I would marry you all over again, no matter what. I even did the thing in Hawaii.
That's true. You did marry me again in Hawaii. You are correct. So boysenberry blast. See, I just made him feel guilty. It's what you get for teasing your sweetheart. I'd choose you all over again. I love that. I think that's so sweet. Why am I sucking up to him?
Help!
I'm hoping he'll make me dinner when we're done. Okay, so I have boysenberry blast once, twice. I need it in a third spot. So I decided to put it right here, but I'm going to go ahead, before I do boysenberry, I want to add some gold in here. And I thought about that because I have this sentiment in gold and I don't want it to be the only thing that's gold. So I thought it would be fun to put a happy anniversary up here, since this is an anniversary card. And I have an anniversary stamp in here somewhere. Right here, anniversary, happy anniversary. I'm going to raise that up just a little bit. Now, I'm going to do this in... I'm not going to do this with my hybrid ink because I want to use the gold embossing powder, okay? So now I am going to use my embossing ink, which is my watermark pad here. And I'm going to raise this up just a little bit because I do want to put something underneath it. And so that says Happy Anniversary. Get that ready. And I'm going to go ahead with my little static thing here because I don't want all that gold embossing powder to stick anywhere. Ink this up, and I'm going to ink it a couple of times again so it's good and inky. And then get the gold embossing powder on there. Tap it off. Now you can see how, because I have a lot of layers of my my hybrid ink on there, and I didn't use that. There we go. I didn't use that static thing everywhere. I'm just going to use a brush to get any excess off of there that might be attaching itself to the card. I always keep a little brush handy. I'm going to emboss this. What? Somebody has a question? Was that PCC? Oh, Polynesian Cultural Center. That is true. That's where we got married again. Very good. Very good. Yes. Who guessed that? Who was that? Oh, that was Cynthia. Yeah, we went to Alani because we have a Disney Vacation Club membership. So we went to Alani when we went to Hawaii. And then we spent an afternoon at the Polynesian Cultural Center, and it was amazing. All right, so there's Happy Anniversary. So now I've got the gold in there, not once, not twice, but we're going to put a third time in there. And this is when, remember when I said I keep a little block handy for little stamps? So this is my block. I'm going to do some little stamps right here. In here we've got like these little sparkles. And so I'm going to grab the larger one, that little diamond like sparkle thing. See that there? So that sticks to my fingers. It's just hard to, do what you need to do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up, and I'm going to put a couple of these on here around the top. So there's one. Let's do a second one. Two. All right. Hope I got them on there good. And I always use a little bit of brush little bitty brush to brush off any excess that there might be. And then I'm going to go ahead and emboss those. Very nice. Look how pretty it's coming along. So there's a nice and golden shiny. Okay, go ahead and cover that up, move that out of the way because I will make a mess if I don't get that out of the way. And now, let me get this clean. That little sparkly, put that away, and we're almost done. The last thing I'm going to do, you can count with me, in that Boysenberry Blast I have 1, 2, I need a third, and I'm going to put it right underneath that little happy anniversary. Make sure those are cooled. They are. All right. So underneath that, I'm going to put the best is yet to come because he's married to me. So funny. So funny. Okay. Let's put this up here. Let me see how that's positioned. I'm going to try and center it just a little bit. Raise it up a tiny little bit. I want to tuck that in there. All right, I'm hoping I don't have that too high. I don't want to stamp it on the bottom of that gold, but I don't want to get my head in the camera. So if I mess it up, I'm going to defer to the first one that I did. Okay. I think we have room, so we'll see. There we go. Ah, look at that. The best is yet to come. It looks perfect. All right. Put that away. And now we're going to apply, actually we'll apply that last. I'm going to get my inks out of the way here. I happen to have what looks like boysenberry a little card topper here in the same color as the boysenberry. I'm going to put foam on the back of my card. And you know, where it was curled a little bit from the heat, it's not going to be an issue anymore because it's all going to be flattened down just by putting this adhesive on the back. Okay. There we go. I agree, that card base color, isn't that stunning? I just think it's so, so pretty. It's a little more purpley, I think, than what it looks like to you guys, too. Of course, I can't tell what you're looking at, but look how pretty that is. There we go. Let's get that on there nice and even, and then this piece is going to go on. And I'm holding this a certain way so I can make sure it's centered from right to left. You lay it down kind of gently, hold it up, make sure it's straight, and it is. There we go. And now I have one more thing to do here. Where's my tape gun? Here we go. I need to put this on the card base. Make sure it's opening in the right direction. So my card bases, I like them to open to stand up. So this was, just like I did in the other one, I don't think I explained it though, this was an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. I cut it at 4 1/4, scored it at 5.5. So now it's like a tent fold when it stands up. So I can put this piece on here. Let's line it all up. There we go. So pretty. There we go. So we managed to do 2 cards today. Look at that. Look how pretty. So these are the 2 cards. One is a little more feminine than the other. One's a little more masculine. I also want to show you, I did a live for Cobblestone Creek Studios. It's a store. And she wanted me to do a little tag, and I made this little tag, which I thought was super, super cute. I wanted to show you that you could make tags with all of these as well, with the same sets that I just showed you I used. And the only thing I did differently was I used the any size tags, and I used this one right here to cut the top of it. So basically you just cut your piece of card however you want it, and then like whatever length, whatever width you want, and then use one of these little tag toppers to cut the top. It cuts the hole in everything, and it's absolutely beautiful. We've even included in this stamp set, that little circle right there is what stamps around the whole of your tag. So it is absolutely perfect, absolutely perfect. So here's 3 examples of what you can do just with only the stamps that I've just shown you. So don't go anywhere yet. We do have, I'm just going to put the stamp set away, we do have 2 giveaways that we need to get to. So let's see, let me figure out what we're going to give away.
Well, you have to give away the same thing or I'll get it screwed up.
What?
You have to give
Oh, you
away
want this giveaway to be the same thing?
Yes.
Okay, so all right, let's go ahead. And, all right, ready, Freddie?
That way I'll get it right.
Okay,
Oh,
so
you're
we'll give
coming
away
back?
2 of the same thing.
Why?
Okay, I think that's a good idea. I do think it's a good idea, because then you won't mess it up.
Yeah.
So we're going to give away it's a 4x8 stamp set. This is what I was using today. It's called On This Special Day, so it's good for so many different occasions. And let's see. So get your comment out there. So we need to have comments out there. If we don't have a comment from you, we can't choose your name because we don't know that you're there. So with this stamp set, well, in any of the alphas, or if you already have alphas, you'll be able to create cards like I made today. So yay!
I got one from
You got-
Facebook and one from YouTube.
Okay, he's chosen 1 name from Facebook and 1 name from YouTube. So the first one is Regan. Regan Zick. You have won the On This Special Day stamp set. Woohoo! Congratulations, Regan! Yay! And then the second name is Phyllis Zimmerman. Phyllis Zimmerman, you have won the other On This Special Day stamp set. Yay! So ladies, we need you both to send your name and your complete mailing address to customer service at ldrscreative.com. Send me complete mailing address and your name, and we will get your On This Special Day stamp set sent out to you right away. All right, everybody. That was so much fun. I don't know what I'm going to be working with next week, but it's going to be more from the new collection, and I will probably be working these alphas and or numbers in there somewhere because I love, love, love working with these. So everybody have a fantastic evening. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to like our video if you're on YouTube. Follow us if you're on Facebook, and oh, and what else? Let's see. I don't know, come back here next week, maybe same time, same place, 7 p.m. on Thursday. We will be here. Can't wait to see you guys again. Again, thank you for being here. Have a great night. Bye, everybody.